Hello folks, this is Tom Martin. This is my lottery strategy game, Decoding the Powerball guessing game. I'm picking my numbers to the drawing on April 14th, 2018. If you want to play my game, Decoding the Powerball, then please visit my website at www.patreon.com/Decoding the Powerball. I have 7 strategies with my game, Decoding the Powerball. So strategy number 1, the game card color code. Okay, so if you've never seen my videos before, why I make them is to show you on how to use my game. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call the game card. This represents all 69 white ball numbers in the Powerball lottery. I really don't have anything for the Powerball itself. My goal is to get all 5 white balls correct and win the $2 million prize of the Power Play option. Okay, so first things first is I'm going to go to the Powerball homepage. And the 5 white winning numbers that just came up were the 16, 18, 27, 55, and 67. Again, I really don't care about the red ball. Okay, so what I do is I take those 5 white winning numbers and I put it at the top of this list. And then I take the last 3 drawings of numbers and I transfer these numbers over to the game card as red numbers. Okay, so this is the color code right here. So you can see that this is the red numbers and this is the orange and then the green, blue, and purple. I have 5 different colors, one to represent each one of the 5 white winning Powerball numbers. So for this drawing here, I have 15 red numbers, 12 orange, 19 green, 18 blue, and 5 purple. And the number of colors change with every single drawing. Now, just a couple of weeks ago, this purple had up to 16 numbers. Okay, so that's how much of a swing this color code has. Okay, so over to the right, this 218, this tells me how many color code drawings I kept track of so far. And these are the color code drawings. Okay, so out of this 218 drawings, 116 drawings have come up a 3-color combination. 78 drawings have come up a 4-color combination. 21 drawings have come up a 2-color combination, and only 4 times out of 218 drawings have all 5 colors come up together. And never has it been just 1 color. Okay, this number 4 right here, this tells me how many colors just came up in the last drawing. So you can see that there was 2 purple numbers, a red, a blue, and an orange for 4 colors total. Okay, so how I use this is I try to correctly guess what the next number will be. Okay, so more than half the time, it does come up a 3-color combination. Okay, so the overall strategy is this. Okay, this game is all geared up to reduce the numbers. Okay, so how this works is that, again, there's 69 white ball numbers total. Only 5 numbers can come up as winners, so that means 64 numbers can't come up at all. So for me, I just think it should be easier to pick the numbers that won't be coming up than the 5 that actually do. Okay, so I'm going to turn to how all 5 colors hardly ever come up together. Okay, so the strategy is try to guess which one of these colors won't be coming up and eliminate that group of numbers off of the game card. Okay, so for this drawing here, I'm going to eliminate the purple numbers off of the game card. And the reason why is because it only represents 5 numbers for this drawing. Okay, so plus another thing, as I look at this, you can see that 2 purple numbers came up in the last drawing, 2 before that, and then 1, 1, and then 2, and then 3. Okay, so it's purple number has come up in the last 6 drawings. And that's kind of unusual as I go back to the history of things. Usually a purple number will come up like 1, 2 drawings in a row and then miss, okay? And I'll show you an example of a miss right here. So you can see that there's no purple numbers right there. Okay, so again, I don't believe that any purple numbers will be coming up in this drawing. So I'm going to eliminate these purple numbers off of the game card. Okay, so to speed things up, I'm going to scroll to the right. And this is what the game card looks like with no purple numbers to it. Okay, so what I'm doing here is I'm spending $3 on a Powerball ticket, which includes the power play. Okay, so in other words, I'm betting $3 that none of these purple numbers will come up in the next drawing. Okay, so if I'm correct with my pick and none of these purple numbers come up, then I'm one step closer to that $2 million prize. Okay, so I'm off to the next strategy. Strategy number 2, the individual numbers. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call the individual numbers. Okay, and how this works is up at the very top is the master for each individual number. Okay, and over here to the right are the numbers that just came up in a lottery. Again, it was the 16, 18, 27, 55, and 67. Okay, so that turns out to be a 4-group combination. Okay, so I'm going to reduce this down so you can see the whole card. And you can see what I'm talking about here. Okay, so what you're going to see here is that there's 7 groups total. So group number 1 holds the numbers of 1 through 9. And then it's the teens, 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, and 60s. Again, for 7 groups total. Okay, so there's only 5 white winning Powerball numbers. Okay, so 2 of these groups won't be able to have a winning Powerball number to it. Okay, so the strategy is try to guess which one of these groups won't have the winning Powerball number to it and eliminate that group of numbers off of the game card. Okay, so how I use this is this big square right here. This is good for 5 drawings. Okay, so I like to break things down into 5 for a couple of reasons. Okay, so as I go down through the history of things, it's easier to count as far as going 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, and so on. Okay, so another thing too is my theory is that if there's a lot of hits within this group of numbers for this 5 drawings, then maybe there won't be so many hits for the next 5 drawings or vice versa. Okay, so for this drawing here, again, the overall strategy is to reduce the numbers. Okay, so I'm looking at the 20s here. Okay, and I noticed that there's been 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 20 numbers in a row. 5 drawings in a row, a 20 number has come up. So I just think that is due to miss. Okay, so I'm going to eliminate the 20 numbers off of the game card. Okay, so I'm going to blow this back up. And another way that I use this is I could highlight just one number. Okay, like the 14 right here. Okay, so I could highlight this and see what numbers have come up and see what colors. Okay, so again, there's 5 colors total. So if I see like a purple, green, orange, blue, but I haven't seen a red in a very long time, when 14 hits in that red, maybe I'll consider picking the 14 just because it hasn't been red in a very long time. Okay, so another way that I use this is I try to correctly guess what the next number will be as far as how many groups have hit. Okay, so here you can see that for most of the time a 4 will come up. Okay, so as I go down through the history, you can see lots of 4s. Okay, a close second is a 3. Okay, a lot of 3 groups come up, and once in a great while a 5 will come up. Okay, and once in a blue moon, a 2 will come up. Okay, and I never seen a 1 at all. I never seen all 5 numbers, all 5 winning numbers land within one group like all these 60s. Okay, I never seen 5 60 numbers come up. Okay, so I'm gonna go to the game card here, and I'm going to eliminate the 20 numbers off of the game card. Okay, so again, I just don't think that any 20 numbers will be coming up, so I want to get rid of them. Okay, so this is what the game card looks like so far. Okay, so again, what I'm doing here is I'm betting $3 that no purple numbers will come up in the color code. Okay, and now I'm going to parlay that bet, saying that no 20 numbers will come up from the individual numbers. Okay, so I'm going to keep on adding in bets here and reducing the numbers. Okay, so I'm off to the next strategy. And that's strategy number 3, picking the numbers I hope will miss from group 1. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call my group 1 numbers. Okay, so basically what I did is I divided all the numbers into 4 different groups. Okay, and I put colors to these groups. Okay, so when the 5 white winning Powerballs land within these groups, I record where they land down here in the stats. Okay, so again, I'm going to go back to the Powerball homepage. In the 5 white winning numbers that just came up were the 16, 18, 27, 55, and 67. Okay, so you can see that the 18, 27, and 67 are all here in the red. Okay, so when you go down into the stats, this is where I keep the red stats right here. Then the blue, orange, and green, and you can see that there's a 3 here in the red. And again, that represents the 18, 27, and 67. Okay, so over here in the blue, the one that came up was the 16. And over here in the green, the one that came up was the 55. Okay, so you can see that there's a 0 here in the orange. Okay, so that means that no winning Powerball numbers landed within this orange area. Okay, so the strategy is try to guess where these zeros are going to pop up. Okay, so if I could have correctly guessed that none of these orange numbers were going to come up in the last drawing, I could have eliminated all these numbers and really gave myself a much better chance at picking the correct 5 white winning Powerball numbers. Okay, so I have 15 of these option cards. All right, and they all kind of look the same as far as the colors. They're all red, blue, orange, and green. It's just that the numbers that they represent are a little bit different from each other from each different option card. Okay, so again, I have 15 of these option cards because I want as many options as possible to try to guess where these zeros are going to pop up. Okay, so for this drawing here, my first guess is that option card number 1 won't have any blue numbers come up here. Okay, so I don't think any blue numbers will come up, so I'm going to eliminate these blue numbers off of the game card. Okay, so I'm going to go back to the game card. I'm going to scroll to the right. Okay, so down here below you can see group 1, option card number 1, no blue numbers, and you can see all these blues are gone now. Okay, so how this works is that you can see here there's 5 numbers off to the side here. Okay, so this 19 shares the square with the 67. Okay, so this 8 shares the square with the 66. Okay, so when I eliminate all these numbers right here, I'm going to eliminate the 8 and the 66 at the same time as a group. Okay, so all I'm doing here is keeping track of groups of numbers and trying to predict whether they're going to come up or not come up in the drawing. Okay, so I'm going back to group 1, and my next pick is going to be option card number 2, no blue numbers. Okay, so for this drawing here, I think there's going to be lots of blue misses, okay, within all these 15 option cards. So again, I don't think that any of these blue numbers will be coming up in the drawing, so I want to get rid of them. So I'm going to go to the game card and eliminate those blue numbers off of the game card. Okay, so you can see that all these blue numbers are gone. Okay, so again, this includes the 67 and the 19 as a group. Okay, so I'm going to go back to group 1, and my next pick is going to be option card number 3, no blue numbers. Okay, so again, I think there's going to be lots of blue misses within all these 15 option cards, and I think that this is going to miss as well. So I'm going to go back to the game card, and I'm going to eliminate all those blue numbers off of option card number 3. Okay, so this is what the game card looks like so far. And I'm going to go back to group 1, and my next pick is option card number 5. No green numbers. Okay, so the reason why I'm picking this green is because this has hit 21 drawings in a row here. Okay, so I'll show you what that looks like. Okay, so in the last 21 drawings, one of these green numbers have come up. Okay, and now I just think that it's due to miss. Okay, so I think there's going to be a 0 right here. I think it's going to be a blue mark, and I don't believe that any of these green numbers will be coming up, so I want to get rid of them. So I'm going to eliminate them off of the game card. So I'm going to scroll to the right. And again, this is what the game card looks like so far. Okay, so I'm going to go back to group 1 for one last pick, and that's option card number 15, no blue numbers. So again, I have 15 of these option cards, and this is what they look like. Okay, and again, you can notice that I use all the same colors as far as red, blue, orange, green. It's just that the numbers that they represent are a little bit different from each different option card. Okay, so again, here's the blue. All right, so the reason why I'm picking this one is because I see a single blue mark here. Okay, and every once in a while you can see that it will double up 2 zeros in a row. Okay, so as I look at this one has a couple of single blue marks in a row, and I just think that it's due to double up here. Okay, so I think there's going to be a 0 here. So again, I don't believe that any of these blue numbers will be coming up in the drawing, so I want to get rid of them. So here I'm back at the game card. And you can see underneath group 1, option card number 15, no blue numbers. Okay, so if I'm correct with my guesses here, okay, and none of the numbers come up, which I said won't be coming up, that means that the 5 white winning Powerball numbers have to be within one of these numbers still left on the board here. Okay, so I'm off to the next strategy. Strategy number 4, picking the numbers I hope will miss from group 2. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call my group 2 numbers. Okay, so much like group 1, where I divided things into 4 different groups, here I divided things into 8 different groups. Okay, so again, there's only 5 white winning Powerball numbers. Okay, so 3 of these groups won't be able to have a winning Powerball number to it. Okay, so the strategy is try to guess which one of these groups won't have the winning Powerball number to it and eliminate that group of numbers off of the game card. Okay, so I'll show you how I use this as well. I'm just going to blow this up just a little bit more. And I'm going to point out this red area right here. Okay, so I keep the stats for the red area right down here. And you're going to see that I like to keep track of every 5 drawings. Okay, so here's 5 drawings here, then here as it goes down. Okay, so the reason why this is colored blue here is because it has 3 zeros to it. So the reason why I like to keep track of every 5 drawings is because it shows me a majority of things. Okay, so here the majority is 3 zeros or 3 misses. Okay, and that 3 misses means that none of the 5 white winning Powerball numbers landed within this red area here. Okay, so this 2 right here means that 2 out of the 5 white winning Powerball numbers landed in this red area right here. Okay, so down here you can see there was 3 hits here. So the majority was hits. Okay, so I colored the background red to symbolize that it's hot. Okay, so the blue is cold, the red is hot. Okay, so why I do this is because as I go down through the history of things, okay, because the lottery is so random, I'm kind of using random in my favor now. Okay, just because nothing can stay hot forever and nothing can stay cold forever with something that's so random. Okay, so when I see something that's very, very hot or all red, well, eventually it's going to turn cold or blue. Okay, so I just have to correctly guess when that's going to happen. Okay, so my first pick here is going to be option card number 3, no red numbers. Okay, so as I head back up through here, this is option card number 3. Now, I have 15 of these option cards as well here in group 2. And I use all the same colors as well. It's red, blue, orange, green, purple, brown, gray, yellow. Okay, so again, I use all the same colors for each option card. It's just that the numbers that they represent are a little bit different from each other from each different option card. Okay, so you can see the red numbers are here for option card number 3, and over here in option card number 2, you can see that the red numbers are at the very top here. Okay, and then over here in option card number 1, you can see the red numbers are over here like this. Okay, so again, I'm looking at option card number 3 because I don't believe that any of these red numbers will be coming up in the drawing. Okay, so here's the stats for this red, and as I head down through, you can see that things got really, really hot. Okay, and now I think they're going to cool off. So I think there's going to be a 0 right here. Okay, so again, I don't believe that any of these red numbers will be coming up. So I'm going to go to the game card and eliminate those red numbers off of the game card. Okay, so I just got to reduce this down a little bit. And I'm going to scroll to the left now. And you can see underneath group 2, option card number 3, no red numbers. So you can see that there's no more red numbers right here. Okay, so I'm going to go back to group 2. And my next pick is option card number 7, no gray numbers. Okay, so here's the gray numbers right here, the stats. And as I head down through, you can see that things have been like 50-50 all the way down, and then it ran into this little hot streak here. And now I think it's going to turn cold here. So I think there's going to be a 0 right here. So as I head back up through, again, I don't believe that any of these gray numbers will be coming up. So I'm going to go to the game card and eliminate this 2 and the 9 here. So I'm going to scroll to the left. And you can see that this is what the game card looks like so far. Okay, so I'm going to go back to group 2, and my next pick is option card number 10, no gray numbers. Okay, so here's option card number 10. Here's the stats for the gray. And as I head down through, you can see that things were really, really hot. Okay, and now I think they're going to cool off. Okay, so I think there's going to be a 0 right here, which means I don't believe that any of these gray numbers will be coming up in the drawing. Okay, so it's the 17, the 28, the 21, the 32, the 49, and the 60, and the 69, and the 64. Okay, so I believe the only one left is the 64. So I'm going to scroll to the left, and now you can see that 64 is gone. Okay, so I'm going to go back to group 2. And my next pick is going to be option card number 11, no orange numbers. Okay, so here's the stats for the orange. And as I head down through here, you can see that things got really, really hot here. Okay, and now I think they're going to start to cool off. So I think there's going to be a 0 right here. Okay, so again, I don't believe that any of these orange numbers will be coming up. And I believe that the only ones left is the 33 and the 41. Okay, so you can see them right here. So I'm going to scroll to the left. And you can see that the 33 and 41 are gone. Okay, so my last pick in group 2 is going to be option card number 14, no gray numbers. Okay, so here's the stats for the gray. And as I head down through, you can see that things got pretty hot. Okay, really hot. And now I think they're going to start to cool off. So I think there's going to be another 0 right here. Okay, so I'm going to eliminate any gray numbers still left on the game card. And I believe that the only one left is the 57. Okay, so now I'm going to scroll down. Okay, so you can see that 57 is gone now. Okay, so I started off with 69 white ball numbers, and now I'm down to 6. Okay, so if I made all the correct picks, okay, and the magic word here is if I made all the correct picks, and none of the numbers that I said weren't going to come up, won't come up, okay, then that means that the 5 white winning Powerball numbers have to be within these 6 numbers still left on the board here. Okay, so to help me pinpoint what the 5 numbers will be, I'm going to turn to my next strategy. Okay, and that's strategy number 5, the 50-50 picks. Okay, so what happened a couple years ago is I eliminated the numbers down to 10, and the 5 white winning Powerball numbers landed within those 10 numbers that I still had left on the board. Okay, I only got 2 numbers correct. Okay, but that's when I said to myself, boy, I think I'm on to something here. You know, I did what I wanted to do. I wanted to give myself a better chance at winning. Okay, so after that day, this is where I came up with the 50-50 picks, okay, to help me pinpoint the 5 white winning Powerball numbers. Okay, so how this works is, again, there's 5 white winning Powerball numbers, okay? So there has to be a majority of either odd numbers or even numbers, or numbers to the high side or numbers to the low side. Okay, so I like to keep track of that and try to guess what the majority will be for the upcoming drawing. Okay, so how this works is this number right here, this 263, this is how many drawings I kept track of so far. And that's since October 7th, 2015. That's when the Powerball lottery went from 59 numbers to 69 numbers. Okay, so out of this 263 drawings, 133 drawings have been the majority of odd numbers. Okay, 130 drawings have been the majority of even numbers. Okay, so as I go back to the Powerball homepage, the 5 white winning numbers again were the 16, 18, 27, 55, and 67. So you can see that there's 3 odd numbers here. Okay, so the majority is odd numbers. So you can see that I have it over here as the majority. Okay, so as I head over, I also have high and low here. So all the numbers in the red here have been the majority of 129 drawings, and the numbers in the blue have been the majority of 134 drawings. Okay, so you can see that the 67 that just barely came up, that's in the blue area. So even though it's a high number, it's still in the blue area. So when that comes up, I do record it as a low number just because it's in the blue. So it only matters on how I record it in the stats. Okay, so the next one I have is left and right. So you can see that this is dead even. 131 for the majority to the left and 131 to the right. And I just think that's really amazing. Okay, actually that can't be right because there's 263 drawings. So I didn't hit this to the left here, so this is 132. Okay, so it's 132, but still I think it's really amazing. And what I think is going to happen is I think that the majority will stay to the left here. Okay, so I think there's going to be more numbers to the left side than the right side. Okay, and the last thing I have for this 50-50 picks is this red and blue area here. And you can see that the red is way ahead of the blue, 149 drawings to 114. Okay, but the only one that I'm going to guess at is this left and right, and I think the majority will be over to the left. Okay, so one last thing that I have is this is for the Powerball itself. Okay, so this is for that red number right here, the one that came up, the 18. So there's 26 red numbers total. So over here in this column, if you see a red number, then that means it's high, 14 to 26. If you see a blue number, then that means it's low, 1 to 13. Over in this column, if you see a red number, then that means it's odds. And if you see a blue number, then that means it's evens. Okay, so why I do this is because now I just have to look at the colors. Okay, so that's just much easier for me. Okay, so I see this long line of red here. So that means a high number has come up in the last 7 drawings. Okay, so I just think that it's due to have it blue here. So I think it's going to be a low number. And over here, I think it's going to be red. So I think the Powerball number will be a low odd number. Okay, so as I go back to the game card here, I'm going to scroll to the right. And again, for the 50-50 picks, the only one that I feel comfortable picking is that I think the majority will be over to the left side. Okay, so that automatically means that I think that these three numbers will be coming up. Okay, so I'm off to the next strategy, and that's strategy number 6, picking the numbers I hope will hit from groups 1 and 2. Okay, I'm just going to stick with group 2 right now. Okay, so I'm going to scroll back to option card number 1 here. Okay, so again, I have 15 of these option cards, and they all look the same as far as red, blue, orange, green, purple, brown, gray, yellow. It's just that the numbers that they represent are a little bit different from each other, from each different option card. But basically what I'm trying to say here is that there's 15 red areas, 15 blue areas, 15 orange, and so on. Okay, so I like to keep track of that, and I call that my group 2 overview. Okay, so I keep that over here. And this is what the group 2 overview looks like. Okay, so basically in the last drawing, this represents all 15 red areas. So you can see that on the left side, I count it as the hits, and the right side is the misses. Okay, so out of those 15 option cards, there was 7 hits and 8 misses. Okay, so the magic number here is 8. If there's 8 or more misses, I color the background blue for cold. If there's 8 or more hits, I color the background red for hot. Okay, so again, now I just have to look at the colors. Okay, so if I think that something's going to be red, then I think there's going to be lots of hits to it. If I think that it's going to be blue, then that means I think there's going to be lots of misses within those 15 option cards. Okay, but right now I'm trying to guess what's going to be hot, what's going to have a lot of hits to it, and I think it's going to be this yellow area. Okay, I think that this will be a red mark right here, which means that I think there's going to be lots of hits to it. Okay, so as I go back to the game card here, I'm going to scroll to the right. Okay, so lots of hits among the yellow areas of group 2. So how this works is, as I go back to the group 2 area, what I do is I look for whatever numbers are left on this group 1 option card here. Okay, group 2 option card number 1, I mean. Okay, so what's left on the game card is the 48. So as I head down through, you can see that the 48's right here. So I wrote that right down here. Okay, so again, this is option card number 1, and the only one left is the 48. So as I go back to group 2, option card number 2, the only one left here is the 68. Okay, so as I go back to the game card, you can see that the only one left is the 68, so I wrote that here. Okay, so this represents all 15 option cards here. Okay, so now I'm off to my next strategy, and that's strategy number 7, picking my numbers. Okay, so I'm going to scroll to the right, and the numbers that I think will be coming up are the 34, 42, 47, 48, and 68. Okay, so as you can see with this combination here, I have 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so that's 9 hits, 6 misses. Okay, so again, that will mean that it's a red mark because it's more than 8. Okay, so again, as I go back to the group 2 overview, again, I think that this is going to be 9, and I think that this will be a 6. And again, as I color it in, this is what I hope it will look like. Okay, so I just want to show you how I came up with this. Okay, so I'm going to go back, and again, the 5 numbers that I think will be coming up are the 34, 42, 47, 48, and 68. Okay, so again, if you're interested in using my game to help assist you in picking your own numbers, then please go to my website at www.patreon.com/decoding the Powerball. And if you'd like to send me some feedback, then please email me at decodingpowerball@gmail.com. Okay, so you can see that there's no "the" in here. It's just decodingpowerball@gmail.com. All right, folks, I really appreciate you watching. If you like the content of my channel, then please subscribe. Okay, and as always, I always like to wish everybody the best of luck in your picks.